Thank you. All right. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining our session on mentorship as a pathway to sustainability. My name is Tochi, and presenting with me is Benedict. As you know, Wikimedia relies on a vast and diverse community of volunteers to create and maintain its many tools. These tools are essential to the Wikimedia mission of free knowledge for all, but they're also complex and require ongoing maintenance and development. And we've come to realize that mentorship is a way to ensure the sustainability of these Wikimedia tools. By pairing experienced volunteers with newer volunteers, mentors can pass on their knowledge and skills, helping to ensure that the next generation of Wikimedians have the skills they need to keep our tools running and the Wikimedia projects up and running. Just in summary, mentorship is a relationship between a more experienced person, which is the mentor, and then a less experienced person, which is the mentee. The mentor provides guidance, support, and advice to the mentee, and also helping them to learn and grow. We're going to be going through why mentorship is important for tool sustainability, and then we'll be talking about how we've been able to use the Wikimentor Africa project to test this aspect of it. Benedict, please.
Thank you so much, Tochi. So the question, why is mentorship important for tool sustainability? Mentorship is important for tool sustainability because one, it helps to transfer knowledge and skills. Mentors can pass on their knowledge and skills to mentees, helping them to learn how to use and maintain Wikimedia's tools. Just like Tochi said, mentorship is just that relationship between the experienced tool creator, in this case, the mentor, and the inexperienced tool creator, the mentee. So that relationship will tend to also share, you see the transfer of skills that will be shared in that, the course of that relationship. Another thing that this relationship does, mentorship, is capacity building. Mentorship can help to build the capacity of the Wikimedia community, ensuring that there are enough people with the skills needed to keep our tools running. An example would be consider, say, for instance, a tool creator, someone who created a particular tool from the Wikimedia Dutchland, for example, adopts someone from Igbo Wikimedia user group, and then mentors that person on how to use that tool, how to fix bugs on that tool. What that person has successfully done is not just transfer the skills alone, but he has also been able to give capacity to the Igbo Wikimedia user group to be able to use that particular tool in a way best suited for them. Next slide, please. Another thing that's another reason why mentorship is important for tool sustainability is it encourages participation. It encourages participation in the sense that mentorship can encourage participation in the Wikimedia community by providing new volunteers with the support they need to get started. This is something that almost everyone has faced. Being a new volunteer, you tend to face the obvious question, where do I start? And so one thing that mentors can help do is they can help you answer that by giving you tasks, by showing you the way. You'll know where to start. You don't need to ask again, where do I start? It also encourages participation in the sense that whenever you're stuck, whenever a new or inexperienced volunteer is stuck with a particular challenge or task, they tend to, because they know that they have someone who can help them, that tends to encourages them to participate even more. One other thing that mentorship also provides is also gives a sense of a community. Now, this is not just for the mentee themselves, but also for the mentor. Mentorship can help to create that sense of community within the Wikimedia community by bringing people together from different background and experience. Now, this can be seen in terms of, say, for instance, a mentor takes in, like the scenario I gave with the Wikimedia Dutchland and Igbo Wikimedia user group. So just by both of them being connected together with the focus of one goal, which is that tool that was created. You see that there is a community. And mind you, a mentor can have more than one mentees. So it seems to the mentor, he's building a community. To the mentee, he's part of a community. So it gives them that sense of belonging. So gives the sense of community. Next slide, please. So to the question, how can mentorship be used to sustain Wikimedia tools? I guess this is a question of the day. So how can this happen? How can we do this? First, we can do this by pairing experienced volunteers with newer volunteers. This is the most common way to use mentorship. By pairing experienced volunteers with newer volunteers, mentors can pass on their knowledge and skills, helping to ensure that the next generation of Wikimedians has the skills they need to keep our tools running. Now, this is something we have tried in the Wikimentor Africa program. Please, next slide. So for those who have not heard of Wikimentor Africa, Wikimentor Africa is a program that seeks to bring in more African developers, more Africans into the technical space of Wikimedia. And one of the success stories I will be sharing today is for that of our biodiversity team. So the biodiversity team, which is headed by Andrea Wagmister, who is the mentor of the team. Prior to Andrea coming on board as a mentor, he has been able to create a script, to write a script that goes from iNaturalist, that takes biodata from iNaturalist and creates Wikipedia, English Wikipedia stubs. For those who don't know what Wikipedia stubs are incomplete articles. They're not necessarily bad, but they are incomplete articles that one can develop. So they gives you that starting point in an article. So what Andrea did was to write the script that takes biodiversity data from a different app, iNaturalist, and creates English Wikipedia stubs. When Andrea came on board as a mentor in Wikimentor Africa, he has been able so far to adopt these mentees, and now these mentees have been able to, because of the participation of these mentees, he has been able to not just create stubs for English Wikipedia, but also update the app, the script, to be able to create stubs for both Igbo Wikipedia as well as Dabani Wikipedia. So this is one success story I can tell you about what mentorship has done that we have tried. It has also been, so now you can see that if the stub builder was intended to last, for instance, the lifetime of Andrea. Now it's no longer just Andrea who is going to be able to fix any bugs that arise from the stub builder. You now have these other mentors who have been trained by Andrea who can now go ahead to sustain this to sustain that stub builder. So, which is one way of maintaining a particular tool. Next slide, please. So if you're wondering how can you get involved, if you're interested in getting involved in mentorship, there are a number of ways you can help. Consider becoming a mentor for Wikimentor Africa. I mean, that's one way. If you have experience with Wikimedia tools, you can consider becoming a mentor. By experience, it could be either you are a tool developer or software developer or a technical writer on the Wikimedia space. You can come on board and be a mentor on Wikimentor Africa. This is a great way to give back to the community and to help ensure the sustainability of our tools. Another way to get involved is you can also get involved in mentorship advocacy. You can help us spread the word within the Wikimedia community. This can be done by talking to the other volunteers about the importance of mentorship, just as you've learned today, or by writing articles or blog posts about it. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay. The third way you can also get involved is by adopting the Wikimania Africa approach. You can peer season you or your community can, your Wikimedia community can peer seasoned tool developers with those still climbing the learning curve. This collaboration not only transfer critical skills, like we've shared, but it also ensures that emerging Wikimedians are equipped to carry forward the torch of tool sustainability. So I will leave you with, before I hand over the mic back to you, I want to leave you with this final word, that through mentorship, we sustain the heart and future of the Wikimedia community. So mentorship is the bridge between vision into sustainability. Thank you so much. And yes.
Thank you, everyone. If you have any questions regarding what we've talked about, please feel free to ask.
Hello, can you tell me how long this program has been running and what motivated you to start it?
Thank you so much. Yes, in terms of how long it's been running, so Wikimania Africa last year, April, so 1 year plus. And in terms of the motivation, basically this came about from Wikimania Africa is intended to bring in more Africans into the technical space of Wikimedia. And this was born from ranging from the what's it called, the hackathon that we attended. So I attended, I think it's the 2019 or 2020 hackathon, where we noticed that we had less Africans who were involved there. And so also when we attended the Wikidata conference, that is the WikiDataCon of I think 2020 or 2021, also less Africans were involved there. And so the question now arose, like, why are we not having more Africans involved in the technical space? And by technical space, I mean in writing softwares for Wikimedia, or in writing, I mean technical writing for Wikimedia, not just the usual editing. And so for us, it's that question kept burning, and we had to look for a solution. And being from the Igbo Wikimedia user group and being from the Igbo culture, we know that one thing we have sustained so far is mentorship. One of our culture is mentorship. We call it apprenticeship down here. And so we felt, how can we incorporate that? Because we know that works with other fields. Mentorship is not just for tool sustainability alone. Mentorship can be applied in different fields, as you already know. And so we're looking forward to, how do we bring this into Wikimedia? And so that was how the entire project was born. And yes, thanks to Wikimedia Deutschland, we've been able to have series of events, series of series of mentors come on board. And like I said, this the Stop Builder is one of the success stories that I'm so passionate about, I'm so proud about, because of the growth it has taken from just English Wikipedia to Dabani and Igbo, and even moving on to Twi and other languages. I hope that answers the question. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just checking if there's any more questions, and wrapping up.
I think we're at time. It looks like we don't have any more questions in the room. Thank you both so much for this lovely presentation.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Ready to begin the next panel?
if you have more frames.
And then Billy will be on the screen.
Yeah. I think. Emmanuel, just come here. Ah. Ouais, là. Non, mais si, là, c'est hop, hop, pas de t'enfuir. I'm speaking on first person in the microphone so that it's recorded. Huh? No. Well, the camera is here anyway. So whether we're here or over there, it doesn't matter really. I think. René, do you see us? René? We don't hear René.
For us? Yeah.
Oui, tu.
Do you
Alors,
hear me, please?
oui, on t'entend, c'est bien. Are you
Okay.
here? You see me here. Okay. Good. So we have Yamen here. Emmanuel, Ruby. Sorry putting you on the hot spot here. Okay. Yeah. So welcome everyone to this session dedicated to education programs, resources, tools in the offline or poorly connected world. Important question, does anyone understand English or are there some, you speak French, but you speak English. René, is that okay with you if we are fully in English, or do you need us to speak part of it in French?
I speak in French. Sorry about. I'm fluently French speaking, but I can try to English, but it's not my main.
So then you speak. Tu parles en français. Je traduis s'il faut, mais c'est
Ouais.
ok si tu nous entends en anglais. Tout ça va? Ouais. Ok.
Ouais, ça va, ça marche pour moi. J'entends l'anglais.
Good. Okay, so welcome everyone. Before we start a short summary, there is a Wikimedian of offline user group. Does everyone is aware of it? No, yes. Wikipedian? Okay, so we have set up a few years ago a user group, which is an affiliated, super informal group approved by the Wikimedia Foundation. So if you need any information, the group is mentioned on the meta page. Most of the pages are outdated. Yeah, I fear. But at least the basic pages are here, and we can communicate through Telegram channels, or very few people use it, or the offline mailing list. And of course, the names of the people interested in the topic are mentioned, so it's very easy to get in contact with them. So here you have a couple of the people. This guy was initially not on this panel, but he's here, and since he's an important person in the offline, is on the hotspot. And there's so that's Emmanuel from Kiwix. Next to him is Ruby from Ofwa Open Foundation West Africa, and then you can explain more. And then we have we have René. René, who got involved in several offline projects as well. So he was involved with me with one of my projects, which I will mention afterwards. And in 2023, he will run Kiwix for School program, if I understood well. And as far as I'm concerned, I am involved in two ways. Back in 2017, we created, with the help of Kiwix, a system, a software called Wikifundi, which allowed to edit Wikipedia offline, or to edit wiki pages offline. And I've been running a project called Wiki Challenge École d'Afrique within a partnership with the Fondation Orange since 2017 as well. So this panel was actually initially suggested by René. So I will leave him speak first. Unfortunately, I think René didn't get a scholarship, so that's why he's online. But René, please, can you introduce yourself, start, and maybe explain your project?
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. and for this handout, Florence. Okay, my name is René Billet, and my username for Wikimedian project is Billet René. Yeah, so what is the concern today is offline education discussion. Is the panel which is the concern today. So it's many discussion about the the project around the education on rural areas. Yeah, I will continue in French because it's my main.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cameroon is bilingual, so I can speak a bit in English, and I can try myself to understand English, but I'm not fluent on that. So I will continue in French. Thank you. Alors, Wikimedia offre de nombreuses possibilités dans divers domaines à travers le monde. L'éducation y trouve peu à peu ses marques. Plusieurs continents ont suivi le pas malgré le taux de pénétration d'Internet très faible dans certains pays. C'est le cas de l'Afrique et c'est le cas également de plusieurs villages, on appelle zones rurales pour être plus commode. Donc, c'est le cas de
It's not only in Africa, right? Huh? Okay, so I will start while before he comes back. So one of the point he mentioned
mener
is
quelques
that
activités, notamment comme la GIF, quelques activités et prévoyons continuer dans ce sens au regard de la population jeune qui se trouve sur le continent africain et davantage pour réduire considérablement le gap d'information qu'on pourrait enregistrer entre les populations en zone rurale et celles en zone urbaine. Donc, le focus ici, c'est les populations en zone
attends.
rurale qui ne bénéficient pas
Allô,
davantage.
René, tu m'entends,
Ouais,
René? René, tu m'entends? Okay, my memory
ouais,
span
je
is about
t'écoute.
3 words,
Oui.
so I cannot remember so much. Let me tell a little bit about all the English to the English speakers here. Okay. So what René was saying is
Okay,
that
sorry.
yeah, the Wikipedia project has been expanding for the past 22 years now, but it still has some difficulty to get set up and penetrate some places in the world. So of course he's speaking from Africa, but it's also the case of some South American places, even though there's no South African people, but you can probably mention that because WikiWix has been working with some places in South America about this. So what is in particular mentioning is internet access complicated in Africa generally, but in particular in rural areas. I could mention as well, that's my words, that it's not only a question of rural or versus city, it's not only a question of internet with internet or without internet. It's more generally the problem of reliability of data connection in terms of speed. So if I take the example of Cape Town, which some of you know as being my second hometown now, because Wiki in Africa Association is located in Cape Town. Well, Cape Town doesn't have electricity 24 hours a day, even though it's a very big city. It has currently internet only about 2/3 of the day. So every couple of hours, they have 2 hours without electricity entirely. So people survive by filling up batteries and then being offline for 2 hours and going all day long like this. And as many of you have experienced, it's also sometimes without internet or with a poor connection or a connection that goes on and off. So the other thing that René was mentioning is the fact that a significant part of the population is quite young. So he has been working in this area, in particular with the young people. Go on, René.
Yeah, and that we need to reduce the gap of information between the population of rural areas and the urban areas. That is our our focus too.
Did you notice that he moved back to English all by himself?
Yeah, yeah. Ok, alors, quand on a dit ça, il serait important, il serait important de préciser l'intérêt que nous portons pour les zones rurales. Celles-ci enregistrent un déphasage en matière d'accès à l'information, qui est l'une des priorités des objectifs du millénaire pour le développement. Donc, travailler sur les populations, sur les populations de ces zones autour des projets tels que Kiwix for School, notamment également Reading Wikipédia, in Classroom, pourrait améliorer les chiffres du droit à l'éducation et le droit à l'accès à l'information. Alors, nos objectifs autour de ce panel, ce sera d'échanger sur les initiatives wikimédiennes en matière d'éducation en zone rurale, d'échanger également sur les projets wikimédiens ou non, permettant l'accès à la connaissance libre en zone rurale, de partager l'expérience d'éducation d'éthique au travers de Wikipédia ou bien de Wikimedia et ses projets frères en zone rurale, et de trouver en dernier ressort les voies et moyens pour permettre d'étendre l'implémentation à travers le monde. Sur
Okay.
ce, je vais laisser la parole à Florence, qui sera la première intervenante. Je vais moins intervenir parce que bon, le panel il est assez fourni. C'est beaucoup d'expérience, donc je vais laisser l'espace à Florence et ensuite les autres pour pouvoir nous entretenir sur la question d'éducation hors ligne. Je vous remercie.
Merci, René. So he said that in particular he was mostly interested with the question of setting up programs in rural areas, which is an important point because in fact most of the programs are actually set up in cities, if only for access questions, because it costs money to go and travel and access all the schools. And the second thing he wanted to do is to discuss both the initiative, the resources, and the tools and the different programs. He mentioned in particular 2 programs, so that's the Kiwix for School program. And he also mentioned Wikipedia in your classroom. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you, I don't know how familiar you are with these, all the tools and programs that are currently existing in the offline sector. How much are you aware of that? And what are you mostly interested with yourself? Do you have an offline program? Do you want to set one up from scratch? What's the current situation for you? Anthony. And if you have no idea, just want to come here because it's warm, that's fine as well.
All right, so there was a time where we engaged with Wikifundi, but we have not done much in my community for that. Yeah.
Okay. So I will super quickly comment on each of the mentioned done. The Wikifundi is the tool that we created in 2017. It was done way after the job done by Kiwix, which is more about giving access to a whole bunch of resources way beyond Wikimedia itself. In our case, it was mostly to try to find a way to make it possible for them to try editing on a wiki. Because consuming is one thing, but becoming producer is a second thing. So it was interesting to see what. What about you? What is your thing?
Concerning offline, so I'm Mathieu from Wikimedia France, and I'm a education project manager. And we don't really have an offline program so far, but I think we should definitely set something like for rural part of France that don't have a lot of connection, and there is something to do, to be done.
I don't think there are so many places in France without. Yes? Wait, just a second. René, do you want to comment something?
No, I just said good. I just said good for the initiative French.
Yeah. One thing I would like to mention, I would like to ask you to say a few words about Wikidia and what you want to do with Wikidia.
Thank you, Florence. Well, we should definitely try to promote the use of Wikipedia as a learning tool, because Wikipedia has like shown to be complicated for teenagers, because editing there has become sort of a battlefield. Since when you're a beginner, you don't necessarily know the rules, or you make mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes. You're learning, but some editors will be less likely to nicely explain the mistakes you've done. While on Wikipedia, people are pretty young, and it makes it super easy, like for a beginner, like just to start step by step. And people, like, there was a session about mentorship, and I think it's definitely the right place to do so in Wikipedia.
But yet for English speakers, maybe you don't know Wikipedia. So saying it very quickly, that was an encyclopedia for children that has been started in the French space, but it's also available in English, though I must say it's not very active in English. And the focus is 8 to 15 years old. So, for example, my project is being run on Wikipedia, but I don't think that's your case. So you will have to explain to us how you do that with the kids. What are you interested in?
Okay. My name is Pelagia from Tanzania. We have been in Q weeks. Okay. We were working together with Open Foundation West Africa, as she mentored us on Q weeks. So we did we did Q weeks in some of the schools as a pilot project. So they receive it in a very good way and find it something they can work with, something they can access it. So we are hoping to introduce it to most of the schools, especially in rural areas and also in the city. So it's something good for Q weeks.
Okay. So you will be next to explain to us quickly. You're new, so I'm not going to ask you anything. We'll do this rank first, and we go to Ruby. What about you?
So mine is also, I'm Eugene Masiku. I'm also from Open Foundation West Africa. I believe Ruby is going to speak a lot about it, but I'm just going to give a brief before she comes on. So we implemented the Quebec for Schools project. It started way back in 2016, where we train about 1,200 students, and yes, 1,200 students from Ghana. And to date, we've touched about 8 regions in Ghana, whereby students have been thought about how to use KWIX. We went to schools, we spoke to teachers, we spoke to the ICT teachers, taught them how exactly they can deploy the software on their computer labs in the schools, and they in turn also taught the students how to use it. And this year, we're fortunate enough to go beyond Ghana. So we did the KWIX for Schools Africa Mentorship Program, where we gave the opportunity to 64 participants all over Africa to partake in a course on how exactly they can deploy KWIX in their various regions. So these 64 participants graduated successfully, and we are fortunate also enough to have 5 pilot projects from this course. So we had people from South Sudan, Nigeria, Peggy from Tanzania here, Congo, and then Burundi. So basically that's it.
Congo, Burundi,
yeah, Tanzania, and Nigeria, and South Sudan. Yeah.
And South Sudan. Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything to say before I go to Ruby? No, I'm new to this whole thing. You're completely new to this whole thing. So we're going to ask, I think it's best to ask, do you want to say something before why are you here?
Yeah, I know. I live in Canada. I have incredible internet connections, and I don't have the challenges that all of you have in your lives. I really love the work that you're doing, though. As it turns out, I have to talk about how Wikimedia is used in education, and Wikipedia is used in education, and what its future is in a seminar in a couple of months. And I was so excited to see this program. So I'm here learning so much from you all. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. Emmanuel, can you shortly explain to us what Kiwix is?
I will try.
I will try.
So Kiwix is a project, and the goal of the project is to provide a software toolset to help people enjoy content of the website, even if they are not online. So this is what we want to do, is what we try to do, and we have dozens of softwares, different softwares, allowing to do different things to do that. And the flagship product is the Kiwix reader itself, which allows to read Wikipedia offline. So we have a reader called Kiwix available on almost all platforms, all different kind of software, mobile or desktop, all different kind of hardware, mobile or desktop. And parallel to the software, we publish the offline version of Wikipedia and hundreds of other sources. So first year we had Wikimedia conference, Wikimania, so Wiktionary, Wikispaces, etc., etc., etc. And as well, non-Wikimedian content like the Gutenberg project, the Stack Exchange website, iFixit, WikiHow. We provide a lot of info related to YouTube channels, etc.
So they have been around for quite a while. Lots of stuff, desktop version, mobile version, server versions, anything depending on the project that can be set up, which is of interest to people. And then some time ago, they decided to start the Kiwix for School program. I didn't understand who decided to start it. Was it actually from you guys, or was it other communities that decided to do that? Can you explain?
Yeah, so the Kiwix for School Africa Mentorship Program, like Eugene said, I don't want to go into that history, but I think Eugene has done a lot of introduction. It started as a volunteer. I think, first of all, Felix Nati introduced Kiwix after one Wikimedia conference where he met Stefan, and he did it in one school in the northern region. And when I joined Open Foundation West Africa, I saw Maxwell doing Kiwix in schools. So whilst he was doing that, I decided to design some evaluation form for him to ask teachers their feedback, ask students their feedback. And based on those feedbacks that we were getting, I realized that this is a very good program, and this is something that is useful for a lot of the schools, because we are facing a real challenge in Africa, especially even in my community in Ghana. This is a real challenge. Most of the schools, secondary schools, don't have internet running all the time, and that limits students' ability to research. Something that should be a basic need is not a basic thing in Africa. It's a luxury to have internet. And so we saw that we could leverage on volunteer model, because we have volunteers spread across the regions in Ghana. So we developed a program where we train these volunteers, and then they take the Kiwix to the school. So the way that we do it is we tailor the content, because Kiwix makes it easy for us to put whatever content that we want to put on and serve these schools. So we look at contents that are useful for the schools, and then we put those content and on a pen drive, and that makes it even easier, because I don't need a Raspberry Pi necessarily, because that also comes with a cost that if you're not ready for, it can become a barrier. We just use a basic pen drive where we download all this content on, and then give the volunteers a package, sort of like a pen drive, some little things that they need, and basic transportation to take it to the schools that are in their community that needs the Kiwix. And so when they take it to the schools, what they do is that it's not just installing it in the computers on the school, because they have to download it on each computer in the school when they get to the school. But they also teach the children or the students how to navigate it on their computers. And that's how we do the training, okay? And also we've seen that Kiwix is this Kiwix program that we're doing is a very good model that we're seeing in or a very good tool that we're using to introduce students to Wikimedia projects, because Wikimedia has great resources and there are a lot of content on all of these Wikimedia projects, but a lot of the times people don't know about it. And I'll use myself as an example. Until 2019, I didn't even know there's a community behind Wikipedia. I didn't know I could actually write on Wikipedia. I thought there were some professors that were actually writing on Wikipedia and all of the content. And I knew only Wikipedia. I didn't know about Wikimedia Commons, to talk about Wikiversity and Wikicodes and all of that. These amazing resources that we have in our communities. And so this is one of the ways that we use to also train the students that, oh, there are projects like this. We also make tailored content, like for instance, if it's Wiktionary, we don't put the entire Wiktionary. Which aspect of the Wiktionary? Maybe English Wiktionary is more useful for this community. If it's Wikipedia, we're looking at, is it biology, is it maths, is it chemistry that is useful for the students? Okay, so we put content that are useful for the students. I think it's really been amazing. And the internet challenge is real. I'm going to tell you a story. I went to a particular remote area, and the moment I got there, internet was off. I couldn't contact my family. Even to make a call is very difficult. And before you could make a call, you have to stand at a particular pole. And that's how far you walk before you can make a call. So whenever that we wanted to call our families, we had to go to that place. And this is something that is real. Lots of places in Ghana are experiencing that. When we went to Wikindaba, we also got contacted because people were hearing about our QX program, and they were like, they really having the same issue in their country. And so that inspired us to launch the QX for School Africa Mentorship Program. And what that does is that we took the opportunity to mentor community members in other African countries how to have the skill, how to develop their own chemistry projects like we're doing in Ghana, because we have experimented it for the past 3 years. And so we taught them the model. There were lots of lessons that we learned along the way. We made them known, because some of the lessons that we are learning right now, devices are a challenge. Okay, so we contacted KWIX. So all the KWIX for School Africa Mentorship Program is in connection with KWIX itself. So it's a partnership that we reach out to KWIX that know, why don't we bring KWIX on board? Because KWIX has the expertise. So if you're having any technical challenge, if you're having challenge with turning the zip files of a particular website, KWIX is there to support us. So KWIX bought into the idea. So I've been working closely with Stefan. Emmanuel, I know, behind the scenes. Yeah, and I must say that Stefan has been really amazing and supportive throughout the entire program, and we're really, really, really grateful for the opportunity. Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify that Stefan is the ED of QX. This is the face, and you're the brain. Sorry, is the take. Okay, is the non-take. Okay. Wanted to ask you, Obi, are you planning to? I don't know. Why are you here? Just because she's your sister and you're supporting her.
Yes, from supporting, I'm an educator and I've trained Odaha with the Kiwis program mentorship. And for my country, Nigeria, it's a tool that will really, really benefit from, because we have the same challenge of internet connectivity. And we have another challenge of educational content, controlling educational content we give to our students or students can have access to. So with Kiwis is a lot easier, because now they don't have to face the problem of interferences from social media or other avenues. So that's why I'm here. I'm telling you the Nigerian story.
Okay, so before I ask you a painful question, I'm going to ask the remaining people here. Do you have a comment to make? Are you involved in such a program? You don't want to speak, you're just listening. I don't want to scare you. What about you guys? Are you just interested? You don't know what the offline programs are? Are you planning to implement something? You want the microphone.
So we also participated in the mentorship program, the QX mentorship program from with OFA, the QX. So with me, with my community, we are going to in the next month we're going to implement a QX training to one of the schools in Arusha, just as a pilot to see how it goes. Then later on we'll scale it up to do it. Yeah.
So you don't know yet which are the difficulties. What about you? No. Okay. She looks at. You have a question. Go on.
So for Nigeria, one challenge we have with education is that the curriculum is very much backward. I'm speaking as Nigerian, right? And I grew up in Nigeria, schools in Nigeria. I don't know the Kiwix online resources that you have. Is it formulated for Nigerians and is it relevant to our curriculum? Because I mean, it's great that we have offline resources, right? Can go and read from and can benefit from, but how does it help them in school? Or how do you take the needs of the curriculum and students into play when giving them these resources? 1, 2, Nigeria has a culture of seeing the computer in schools as kind of like a shrine where nobody goes to or even opens. You're never allowed to touch it, right? Because they will beat you or something happened to you in classes. So how do you battle the mindset of that computer as a shrine issue in Nigeria?
When did you leave school?
I left school. When did I leave school? NY is 2020. So it's kind of like backward.
So I don't know the type of curriculum you use that you're telling us it's backwards. It's not. I know we have, it's not perfect, if I should put it that way. My set was the first set that started the 6334 system. Good. And after that, there's been a kind of improvement on the curriculum. So I shouldn't say it's backward. It's not. Secondly, it's not all schools. You said they see computer as a shrine. No. In Nigerian system, there's what they call, the school structure is divided into 2, public school and private school. In private schools, they are allowed to use computer. In fact, on the prospectus, your parents are asked to buy one for you. So a student is supposed to own a computer. In the public school, it's not like that. Under public school, there are 2 sets. The ones under federal government care and the one under state government care. The one under federal government's care, some schools are used as pilot schools. They set up computer centers in those schools. My school is one of them. We have the Cisco, we have the school media, and the government aspect. We have like 3 computer labs. But some schools, they don't have. So the idea of seeing computer as a shrine, let me say, is just 20%. Then for the QX, it's originated from Ghana, not Nigeria. No, but that's the Ghana that brought it to us. It's Ghanaian that brought it to us.
Yeah, Kiwix
yes.
did not.
I've never, I've never heard of it until I started the mentorship program under the offer. Yeah, it was then I got to know that it's originated from the 2 yeah. So
Obi, I'm going to stop you here because we're nearly done. I would like to. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
I would like to have two more points, one from you and one back from René. I would like to know if you actually implement some offline education program in Tunisia. And to René, I think he's the first one to implement the Kiwix for School program in a French-speaking country, but I'm not sure of that. So maybe you can further comment.
So in Tunisia, there is already a program with Wiki Africa using Wikifandi. So it's already, the challenge for several. It has been running for several years, which is very good. And also, with the QX, we are working on a new program that will allow us to generate offline mobile application using Wikidata Sparkle queries. So you can write a query to select some articles and build a mobile application for that. So this application can be used for education, for culture, for everything. So, and we can provide this application for students so they can read, for example, a topic about a topic or about a subject, given subject.
As a side note, we are currently producing the offline report of the year. That would be interesting that you write a little something about that so that people can go and dig. What do you mean I am taking the opportunities to finish that report? Yes. Yeah, because I do the work of asking them all the time, and it's sometimes painful to get them to do it. Yeah, further mentioning, it's quite funny because the Kiwix for School program is currently mostly developing in the English-speaking world. The Wiki Challenge program has been there for 6 years, is only in French-speaking world, so maybe there's sort of division. But we also use Kiwix anyway, so you are the pillar there. Yeah.
Yeah, so we also been working with the French community, and Renee was the coordinator, more of the regional coordinator for the French community. So that's what I just wanted to add.
Renee, do you want to say a last word before we part?
Yeah. Thank you all of you guys. It's a pleasure to have you in this session. Donc, en français rapide, je vous remercie tous d'avoir été là. C'était très instructif, très intéressant de changer, de partager sur les opportunités qu'offre le non-Internet dans les écoles, en l'éducation. Pour finir, je vais juste rappeler très rapidement que mon aventure avec Kiwix for Program School, c'est densifié en RCA, qui est la République centrafricaine, lors du mois de la contribution francophone, où pratiquement pendant les sessions, Internet était très, très difficile d'accès. C'est ce qui m'a franchement motivé à aller vers ces opportunités, ces types de projets, ces types de programmes qui pourraient offrir à des populations qui n'ont pas d'Internet, mais de s'acquérir de l'information, de briser le gap d'information entre celles-là qui n'ont pas d'Internet et celles qui peuvent avoir accès à Internet. Donc, c'est l'une de mes motivations les plus ardues, encore dans les zones francophones et à travers le monde. Je vous remercie pour cette opportunité, cette facilitation. Merci.
Thank you, René. Thank you, everyone. I think our time is over by 1 minute. I'm super proud. Yeah. Anyone has a last parting word? A word, not world.
You've really impressed the socks off me, let me tell you. You're doing such great work and reaching parts of our world that have not had access to any kind of quality resources and information. That's fantastic. My question is, what's next?
We let you with that. What's next? Next year, we discuss that further because we didn't really had the time to talk about the difficulties, and they're awesome. In particular, cost, I think, might be one. But we can continue the conversation anyway. Just 30 seconds, right, for the what's next.
So, yeah, what next? We're still continuing the work. A lot of communities have gained the skill this year, and they're looking forward to implementing their programs next year. We're also looking for more support in the Africa region because one of the real challenges that we're also experiencing is lack of devices. And so we're looking for partnership, collaboration. There are organizations that are donating laptops. We need more of those organizations in Africa because this is a real problem. Devices, it's very expensive. It's not affordable.
Partners to implement locally, to go to the school. The last mile is super important. I found that really a problem, and that's why I can implement the program with the Fondation Orange. The second thing is languages. Most of the resources we have are in English or French. So local languages resources might be called, in particular when we talk with the primary school. kids because they need that in other languages. That's also a problem. So the creation of resources, and I'll put on a final word on this. I did the Creative Commons educator certificate in 2022, and I realized that all the resources explaining intellectual property right, even at the most basic level for kids, all of them were done either by France or by Canada, and all of them mention internet, YouTube, TikTok, blah, blah, blah. So can you believe we cannot provide these resources to explain copyright to kids who do not have internet? That wouldn't make any sense. So the creation of resources is really super essential, I think.
I forgot to explain also that we created a game, a board game, that is printable, print and play. I'm going to introduce it tomorrow morning at 11, so auto promo, if you want to come and play. It's explaining wikis, W-I-N key, like the key to open a door. And it's pretty fun. And so, yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it explains like how wikis function and like pretty simply in a fun way. So it's from 12.
And it's quite fun. So pedagogical game, which is cool. It's the latest resource I'm aware of. Are we okay? Yes, pretty much. We close. Thank you very much. Thank you, René, as well. And see you next time.
Thank you. I will. Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mohamed Kamaldin Fuseni. I go with the username DN Shitobu, and I'll be co-presenting this with Goodness. Would you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Goodness Ignatius, and I'm from Nigeria and a member of the Igbo Wikimedians user group. Thank you.
All right. Today we're going to be talking about engaging with underrepresented languages or underrepresented communities. And a lot of us have heard of this term and would be wondering what it is. And we'll just delve into that right away. So when we say underrepresented languages, we're talking about languages that are not widely spoken or studied as compared to other dominant languages. For instance, if we are looking at Dagbani and also English language or Igbo language against English language, you will find that there's a huge gap when it comes to the commonness of these languages. Again, we also have indigenous languages that are languages spoken by indigenous people who are original inhabitants of a particular regional country. Most of the languages in Africa and across the globe, except the popular ones that we know, they are just spoken by indigenous people. Those people are not so widespread. They are usually found in a particular community or town or city or in a particular region or geographical zone. Then the lowest in all, that is also very marginal and also always at the point of going into extinction are the minority languages. And they are the languages spoken by a minority group within a larger society. More often than not, we find these minority languages living their own language and speaking the languages they are surrounded with. Most of African languages fall victim of this particular challenge. All right, Goodness.
All right, and it's very important to engage with underrepresented languages because it promotes cultural diversity and preservation. It also promotes linguistic diversity. We have so many languages, so many people from diverse languages getting or communicating via different languages. It also promotes communication. It promotes equity and inclusion. It encourages equity and inclusion. You know, languages is one of the diverse thing about culture. So it promotes equity and inclusion. If someone understands or if someone gets information in his or her own language, the person understands it, he or she or they understand it better, and it gives the person a sense of inclusion. It also promotes knowledge and it bridges gaps. Like we find out that most times when information is passed in maybe official languages, those that do not really understand these languages will not understand the information that is passed across. So local language, indigenous language promotes, it bridges gaps. So now wider people are reached, more information is passed to a global body. Thank you. Next slide.
Yeah, so why is this thing important to all of us? It's important because Wikimedia Foundation has given us the platform to digitize these indigenous languages, these minority languages, and all these underrepresented languages. But how do we engage with these communities to ensure that the languages they speak are actually documented based on just the way we want them to be documented? So that someday, somehow, even cobblers, seamstress, tailors, name whatever profession that we have in the world, people would be able to learn all these trade or handicrafts in their own local language. Someone should not be left behind just because he's not able to speak a particular language. So in an attempt to engage with these communities, we usually collaborate with the community organizers. So, for example, We are from the Dagbana Wikimedia User Group and the Igbo Wikimedia User Group. So we get to connect with members from these communities, these indigenous communities. There are a lot of people who don't even know that Wikipedia exists. Some of them know they exist, but they don't know that they can also contribute onto Wikipedia and its sister projects. Other people know it exists and they don't even know they can contribute in their own language. And in doing this, we try to address the language and technical barriers they face. And because in Africa, especially Ghana and Nigeria, we are faced with a lot of internet issues. Internet service providers have made it so difficult for us to get internet connection because of high cost of data and also because of the sort of IP addresses they give to our devices. When we go online, especially on Wikipedia, we have all these IP blocks because on Wikipedia and in the online space, we are seen as like the same person coming from different devices because there's always one gateway through a particular router. And so we try to provide technical support or technical support for our communities. Again, we provide training and resources. Thanks to Wikimedia Foundation for supporting us with funding and logistics to be able to organize editathons and other programs that would help communities document their full culture, the cultural heritage, and all the rich information they have about themselves that someone else would have written about them. We again also try to provide technology solution, and by so doing, we try to help them come up with translation softwares or translated versions of very useful softwares. Goodness.
All right, thank you. Okay, there are challenges faced by speakers of underrepresented languages, amongst which are the lack of awareness. The lack of awareness in terms of not knowing that this language is going extinct and is underrepresented, knowing the technical know-how of how or ways to contribute to open access platform. This is one of the challenge. Then access to technology, internet connectivity, and digital literacy. In this part of the world, the internet connection is not really so favorable. So we see that people in rural areas are always challenged with internet connectivity and even access to technology, how to use these technological tools, and having time to dedicate to Wikimedia project. We are all volunteers. And when we talk about bridging language gaps or engaging with underrepresented languages, these experts in these languages or the natives in these languages have other things to do. So the availability of these natives would be a challenge when things like outreach and community calls and different things come up for engagement. Then low levels of literacy. Yeah, we found out that most natives in rural areas would need a certain level of literacy to communicate properly, to contribute. If that level of literacy is not available, then it would be a challenge to engage with these natives or the people in rural or urban areas that has or that speak a particular language. Then we have sustainability, which is always a big challenge when these maybe initiatives is not sustained, when it's not done regularly. There's always a challenge of people not improving or forgetting what they've done, or even not carrying on with what they've learned in the past. Yes, we are trying to engage with underrepresented languages. We are trying to bridge the gaps. Sustainability is a key factor. We do it repeatedly. We make sure we get to diverse location, diverse people, diverse languages. we engage them, we continue the process. It's a continuous process. Information and learning continue. So when when it continues, then there should be a process that also engages these underrepresented speakers continuously. Thank you. Next slide.
Now, we're going to be looking at some of the initiatives that small wikis or underrepresented communities have come up with. We have a lot of them. This doesn't represent the totality of all the initiatives they have come with, but we've just sampled some of these. We have the Wikipedia language diversity. We also have the Afro sports that people get to write about footballers or people in the area of soccer and sporting in general. We also have the Indigenous Language Project, where people do the 100 words challenge. We also have Wiki Loves Women, where people try to document information about women on small language Wikipedia, like Dagban Wikipedia, Gurne Wikipedia, Igbo Wikipedia, and other language Wikipedia platforms. We equally have the Wikipedia ACM month that is celebrated across Africa and across the globe. The Dagbana Wikipedia Saha is also another initiative where people, the Dagbana Wikimedia Initiative Group, try to use digital media, public digital media to teach people about Wikipedia. They've also come up with natural language processing projects where Wikimedians use the data collected on Wikipedia or the articles created on Wikipedia to be able to work with natural language processing experts to train ASR models for AI to be able to translate from English or popular languages to underrepresented languages. Again, most of the underrepresented communities participate in programs like the Wikiloves campaign, including the Wikiloves Folklore, Wikiloves Earth, Wikiloves Monument, Wikiloves Africa, and Wikigap. All these Wikiloves campaigns help in promoting and also archiving indigenous content on Wikimedia Commons, including media files, pictures, videos, audios, name them, just so that people can have a better representation of their culture online and in the digital space. There's also the Wiki lexicographical data, where some communities, I know of Igbo, I know of Dagbani, I know of the Yap language. There are a lot of languages that are currently being experimented with the Wikidata lexicographical data, trying to make Wikidata more interoperable when it comes to Wiktionary, such that when you enter one word in a particular language, you will seamlessly be able to get the translation of that in as many languages as they are supported by Wikipedia projects. Thank you. Goodness.
Okay, thank you, Diane. To engage with underrepresented communities or languages, there are community-led efforts under the Wikimedia Foundation that communities engage in, which some of them are Wikimedia editathons, photo walks, community engagement activities like the monthly meetings, office hours, working hours, translation initiatives, outreaches, and campaigns. Then we have the collaboration. There are numerous collaborations and partnerships under the Wikimedia Foundation, like the Africa No Filter, Africa Knowledge Initiative, and so many others. Then we also celebrate days, the days where days like the Wangari Maathai, the AU Day, the Nelson Mandela Day, the Women's Day, different days that that encourage this community to bring in their expertise, their languages, you know, to bring in their community members to contribute to these Wikimedia projects. Thank you. Next slide.
Yeah, so in conclusion, we are calling on everyone to come join. Let's promote these indigenous languages, because when we promote them, we are going to make the digital space more inclusive. We are going to reduce the language barrier that we all face. We are going to get more people feel respected. There will be equity. People would get to innovate in their own language. Imagine if the whole world had a unique language, or if we could just liaise on technology to be able to translate everything from one language to the other across the globe. Look at the kind of innovation that would have been getting. People have a lot of innovation, but they just lack information. And once they get the information, they will be able to come up with better ideas. And once they have the better ideas, the world is not going to be the same. So thanks to Wikimedia projects, it has come to stay, and we call on all languages across the globe to rise up and join the wagon whilst the iron is still hot. If your language is currently not digitized, this is the right time for you to liaise on Wikipedia. The starting point is Translate Wiki. Thank you so much for the audience. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us via email or via our talk pages. And we are really grateful for the audience. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Hello.
Oui, bonjour. Je vais vous présenter la langue tamazight qui est berbère dans les projets Wikimedia. Donc, l'introduction, c'est Tamazight et Tamazight, c'est une langue écrite et parlée en Afrique du Nord et chez la diaspora. Plusieurs variantes existent, plus de 58. Il y a un groupe user Wikimedia Tamazight et plusieurs groupes régionaux. Comme Wikimedia Maroc, Algérie, etc., liés au MENA, à l'Afrique, l'Europe et diaspora du Canada et en Amérique du Nord. On peut les trouver un peu partout. Donc, la question qu'on peut se poser, comment trouver des solutions techniques afin d'organiser un développement au sein des communautés linguistiques. Troisième point, c'est résumer des actions des projets en Tamazirt. Quatrième point, les problématiques recensées. Cinq, c'est les personnes sourcées, les mots en voie de disparition. Difficultés techniques et traduction. Point 6, c'est les universités et langues standards. Comparaison je vais essayer de énumérer les projets Wikimedia en langue tamazight et l'impact de la standardisation. Trouver des solutions pour les projets, collaboration et initiatives en vue d'enseignement, surtout en wiki-éducation. Le neuvième point, c'est le partenariat et les ressources financières qui est important en Afrique. Comme tout le monde sait, il y a un manque crucial de matériel comme les ordinateurs, tout ce qui est technologique. Donc, c'est important de voir, de se trouver des partenaires fiables. Le point 10, les auteurs et les autorisations, surtout la licence Creative Commons. Les deux derniers points, c'est le contact, bien sûr, et la discussion. S'il y a des questions, bien sûr. Donc, comment trouver des solutions techniques afin d'organiser un développement au sein des communautés linguistiques? Donc, on a d'abord communauté linguistique. Donc, on a dans le mouvement Wikimedia le comité linguistique qui peut régler des problèmes. Ensuite, on a le groupe de leaders qui peuvent partager leur savoir. Troisième point, faciliter la création de projets exemple template abordable en langue anglaise. Par exemple, surtout quand on veut démarrer un projet comme le Wiktionnaire. Donc, faciliter la tâche aux nouvelles langues. Bien sûr, la formation technique avec stage au nouveau, que j'ai pas vu beaucoup dans les projets. Suivi et aide des personnes ayant de l'expérience. Ça va aider surtout les nouveaux. Offrir des bourses et immersion des nouveaux. Je mets l'accent sur les nouveaux et faire l'évaluation, bien sûr. Comme support, site web, documentation accessible, comme ça, on est on est des ressources. Donc, résumé des actions, je vais essayer de voir à peu près. On a Wikipédia Kabyle, qui est une langue, qui fait partie de Tamazirt. Il y a plus de 6000 articles, pas d'administration, très peu de contributeurs actifs. Il y a aussi le Wiktionnaire Shawi. Shawi, c'est Shawiya Language en anglais. Peu de contributeurs, 3800 articles. Créé en 2000, sorti de l'incubateur 2020. pas d'administration, mais des projets. Il y a Wikipédia تشليحات, plus de 6000, plusieurs contributeurs actifs, une administration et des projets. Point important, il y a les projets incubateurs qui ne sont pas encore sortis. Donc, on a Wikipédia en langue officielle standard du Maroc. Déjà 1029 articles très actifs, surtout lors du mois du Maroc. Projet prometteur vu le statut de langue dans le pays. Il y a Wikipédia référent et certains projets. Donc, ce qu'on voit bien sûr que Wikipédia en langue thématique standard du Maroc et Wikipédia تشليحات qui font des projets, il y a des communautés et tant qu'il y a des communautés actives et avec des projets, ça fonctionne. Même le dictionnaire Shawi. Donc, pour juste une seconde, parce que j'arrive. OK. Je reviens juste. Donc, quelques difficultés recensées, peu d'engagement de certaines communautés linguistiques, et il y a des raisons historiques. Difficultés techniques, notamment l'utilisation du Wikicode, qui est difficile, manque de projets, initiatives et incitatifs. Les règles grammaticales aussi, pour certaines langues variantes tamazight, surtout pour l'orthographe, sont absentes parce que ça reste des parlers. L'absence de formation, comme j'ai dit, s'il y a projet, il y a des formations, des ateliers, workshops, des initiatives, ça aide. Gestion de projet absente, surtout si on lance un projet, il n'y a pas d'administrateur, peu de contributeurs actifs, ça aide pas. Sur le point 7, sur charge de travail, certaines personnes vont faire plus de temps. Il y a une charge importante de travail. Donc, ce n'est pas bon pour la santé et ça, c'est problématique. Peu de ressources dans certaines variantes. Il n'y a pas beaucoup de livres. Donc, c'est assez difficile. Et bien sûr, la sous-représentation par rapport au projet Wikimedia, il y a plusieurs langues. Donc, les variantes de Tamazight sont sous-représentées en général. Et pour le financement, par exemple, comme on voit le matériel, les ordinateurs, les équipements, les salles, c'est assez c'est problématique. Donc, ça, je l'ai abordé. Donc, je l'ai abordé. Donc, pour les projets, je fais juste pour le cabine, ça a été lancé en 2007-2008. Wiktionnaire, c'est 2020. Et Tashlihat aussi, c'est dans les années 2000 et quelques. Et espérons que les deux projets, et surtout le projet Wikipédia en langue tamazight standard, soient lancés rapidement. Comment trouver des... Ça, je l'ai abordé. Donc, pour les personnes sources, c'est que quand je parle de personnes sources, je parle des personnes qui parlent la langue. Et comme les points et difficultés qu'on voit dans les communautés, c'est le décès des personnes qui connaissent la signification des mots et donc c'est une perte pour l'humanité. Perte aussi de tradition orale, peu de contact à cause des réseaux sociaux. Donc, il n'y a pas d'échange. Donc, il n'y a pas de parler. Difficulté d'enregistrer des vidéos ou de recenser. On n'a pas de rapport exact parce que les pays d'Afrique font pas, certains pays d'Afrique font pas de recensement linguistique. Bien sûr, il y a les jeunes et les personnes âgées pour définir des mots, traduire des mots. Il n'y a pas beaucoup de moyens, peu de dictionnaires ou experts dans certaines variantes de Tamazight. Donc, pour les universités et la langue standard, certains pays ont officialisé la langue tamazight. Il existe une grammaire, des institutions, des universités qui enseignent la langue tamazight. Le cas du Maroc tifinaire officiel et de l'Algérie latine, la graphie, bien sûr, au Maroc, c'est la officielle qui est tifinaire, c'est bien clair. Et l'Algérie, on a les trois graphies. On recense aussi certains pays comme la France ont un cadre d'enseignement de la langue berbère à l'INALCO. Donc, l'impact de la standardisation sur les projets Wikimedian en Tamazirt, uniformité de la langue écrite au Maroc, ça c'est disons, c'est un bon point. Abondance des ressources écrites, multitude d'éditions, surtout pour le tamazight standard du Maroc. L'orthographe, pour le tamazight, les règles d'orthographe sont bien claires, donc sont applicables. La graphie certifinaire, elle est enseignée dans toutes les écoles au Maroc. Progression de la Wikipédia, comme je l'ai dit, standard dans les projets Wikimedia et volonté de travailler. Ça, c'est surtout pour les enseignants qu'on a besoin. On a besoin d'enseignants qui encadrent des étudiants, ainsi élaborer des projets qui vont donner du contenu dans les projets Wikimedia. Trouver des solutions. Donc, projet, comme je l'ai dit, la collaboration, une initiative afin d'augmenter la participation et le contenu en vue d'enseignement. L'exemple du mois du Maroc, ça a donné plusieurs contributions, presque plus de 1000 articles Wikipédia, soit de Teshlihet ou bien standard. Wikimedia standard. La campagne Maghreb Environnement de 2023 aussi qui a abordé les langues africaines, le Shawi et Tashrihet et même le Derja marocain. Et ça a donné un impact important, surtout pour la création d'articles et de modifications pour améliorer le contenu. On a aussi Wiki Conférence d'Amazir qu'on a besoin pour renforcer le tout. On a aussi, des fois, on se voit à la Wiki Convention francophone. Malheureusement, les bourses sont assez limitées et les leaders de groupe sont quasiment c'est-à-dire qu'il y a les leaders de groupe devraient se concentrer plus sur Tamazight. Je vais donner les raisons pourquoi. L'implication, création d'articles et amélioration du contenu, formation des nouveaux, renforcer l'incitatif de participation via des concours et l'implication des nouveaux. Pour les solutions, l'exemple le mois du Maroc, c'est 1700 articles ajoutés ou modifiés dans Wikipédia Tachlihet, Wikipédia Tamazight Standard, 10 000 d'ajouts. Là, pour les chiffres, la campagne Maghreb Environnement qui a été organisée par le groupe Wiki Maghreb, Ça a donné un important ajout, surtout de Wikipédia تجديدات et de dictionnaire Shawi. Et déjà qu'on peut inclure du Maroc officiel. Bien sûr, Wiki-conférence Tamazight pour le projet futur. Wiki-convention francophone, il y a le projet qui est assez bien sur l'initiative des 100 pages pour ajouter des biographies d'autrices, dont Wikipédia Tashdihit, Kabyle Standard, Tamazight du Maroc et en espace francophone. Il y a le projet Wikisource futur, plusieurs livres dans le domaine des langues tamazight qui datent de plusieurs siècles et qui sont écrits en arabe et en tamazight. On peut faire des projets en Wikidata, Wikimedia commence déjà. Il y a plusieurs initiatives et projets. Parmi les membres de Wikimedia, soit Tamazirt ou les autres groupes de la région. Wikitongue, bien sûr, et Wiki Vibrance pour la musique, pour rassembler les paroles. Wikitongue pour les vidéos aussi, pour la langue. Le dernier point pour le partenariat et le financement, il y a la Wikimedia Foundation, les groupes, chapitres, les hubs, Kiwix bien sûr, les institutions, les universités et organismes. Exemple du projet multilangue quand j'ai fait part lors de Wikimag, la campagne. C'est le dictionnaire de Green Words, plus de 10 langues. Ça rassemble les langues africaines et les autres langues. Donc, partenariat avec, j'espère, c'est un futur projet de l'ONU, de l'UNESCO et la Fondation et le groupe Wikimedia Algérie, Wikimaghreb, Wikimedia Tamazight, et les groupes d'Afrique, etc. Le thème changement climatique et réfugiés, destiné aux enfants et aux mères réfugiés en lien avec les changements climatiques et aux profs. Ça, c'est important vu que avec les changements, il y a eu beaucoup d'exodes, de changements. Il y a beaucoup de réfugiés. Donc, on aimerait bien qu'on ait un dictionnaire qui rassemble les parler africaines. Surtout, par exemple, il y a plusieurs pays qui sont réfugiés, exemple en Algérie. Les populations sont prises, il n'y a pas de dictionnaire, il n'y a pas de ressources exemples, même malgré il y a certaines universités qui enseignent, mais on aimerait bien avoir ça un peu partout et en open source, genre le dictionnaire, le Dico dictionnaire qui a été élaboré en version papier. Cela va aider les enseignants pour la prise en charge des millions de réfugiés, surtout à cause des changements climatiques. Voilà, donc ça c'est un projet futur qu'on espère qu'il va se réaliser parce que c'est très important. Je reviens, c'est ça. C'est que comme là je vis au Canada, il y a plein de réfugiés, il y a plein qui sont venus. C'est très important que les enfants aient au moins accès à leur langue maternelle. Et c'est urgent. Espérons que tous les partenaires vont aider à la réalisation du projet. Donc, pour les projets futurs, exemple, l'enregistrement de la musique traditionnelle en licence libre au Canada et au Maghreb, on est avec Wikivibrance, enregistrement des capsules par des profs d'université en licence libre, surtout les profs avec encadrement, langue standard du tamazight marocain, Shawi, Kabyle, etc. Enregistrement des mots en voie de disparition via Wikimedia Commons et langue libre des variantes, c'est-à-dire qu'on enregistre ça va direct dans Wikimedia Commons. Et c'est bon de revivre le projet langue libre, surtout pour le Maghreb. Téléverser les fichiers photos pour les plantes, les animaux, etc. En voie d'extinction. Ça, c'est pour à cause des changements climatiques et des feux qui ont fait un ravage ces temps-ci. Les localités ou régions en respectant la toponymie locale avec les descriptions en langue locale et en standard tamazight du Maroc. Donc, bien sûr, garder les contacts, ça c'est important. Merci beaucoup. S'il y a des questions, on peut je peux répondre. Si, je ne sais pas s'il reste du temps.
Have to use it or bonjour tout le monde. En tout cas, merci d'être là ce soir pour cette session. Je me présente rapidement. Je me nomme Akwete Atafrank. Je viens du Togo. Je suis membre de la communauté Wikimedia du Togo. Et donc, cette présentation a bien évidemment pour objectif de présenter à peu près notre communauté et ce que nous sommes en train de faire au Togo autour de Wikimedia. Merci. Alors, ici, vous allez voir le plan. Je pense, next slide. Ah, this one. Green. OK. Donc, ici, vous allez voir le plan de la présentation. Déjà, on va faire un petit tour sur le Togo pour ceux qui n'ont jamais été au Togo et un peu faire l'historique de la communauté. Comment est-ce que nous sommes organisés et structurés? Quelles sont les quelques activités que nous avons déjà faites? Et puis, Wikimedia au Togo, mais plus particulièrement Wikipédia, comment est-ce que c'est conçu? Comment est-ce que c'est utilisé au Togo? Quels sont donc ceux qui nous accompagnent dans le cadre de nos actions au Togo, nos forces et nos opportunités pour l'émergence en fait de ce projet-là, un peu aussi les faiblesses que nous avons et pour finir avec les perspectives. Et donc le Togo, c'est un pays de l'Afrique de l'Ouest qui est situé entre le Bénin et le Ghana, donc le Ghana à l'ouest et le Bénin vers l'est. Et donc, avec une population de 8 millions d'habitants selon les derniers chiffres du recensement, on a, en termes en fait, de genre, on a plus de femmes que d'hommes actuellement au Togo. Et l'activité principale dans mon pays, c'est l'agriculture qui emploie plus de 60% des actifs. Et donc, la capitale du Togo est située au sud du pays et qui regroupe en gros plus de 2 millions en fait, de la population, donc disons le quart de la population qui se retrouve clairement en fait, dans la capitale du pays. On a deux langues en fait, au Togo. On a la langue principale au Togo nationale qui est le français. Plus récemment, il y a une intégration de l'anglais grâce en fait, à l'adhésion du Togo au Commonwealth. Également, on a plus de 10 langues locales, notamment l'Evé, qui est la langue la plus parlée. Ensuite, le Kabien, le Moba, le Kotokoli, voilà, et plein d'autres langues locales également. Et donc, Wikimedia Togo, comment est-ce que c'est né? Nous sommes en 2019, nous étions en Côte d'Ivoire pour la conférence sur Understanding Risk pour la gestion des risques et des catastrophes, et également sur State of the Map à Grand Bassam, où il était question de présenter les projets autour d'OpenStreetMap. Et là, on a rencontré la communauté de Côte d'Ivoire. Et donc, ça a commencé, nous avons commencé les discussions. Ils ont dit, pourquoi est-ce que vous n'aurez pas une communauté au Togo, tout simplement? Et ça a commencé tout simplement à réfléchir et à mettre en place une initiative pour pouvoir venir faire la première formation autour de Wikimedia au Togo. Et donc, en 2020, grâce à Wikimedia Côte d'Ivoire, avec l'appui au fait de Wikifranca, nous avons eu la toute première formation autour de Wikimedia au Togo. Et donc, la communauté togolaise, gérée par Franck, qui est moi-même, et avec Herman, qui est le président de la communauté, que je salue de passage ici. Donc, notre objectif aujourd'hui, c'est de fédérer le groupe de contributeurs wikimédiens au Togo, avoir des contributeurs expérimentés qui soient capables de véhiculer en fait le projet Wikimedia, voilà, du sud au nord du pays. Voilà. Et donc, essayer également d'avoir des contenus de qualité, parce qu'on s'est rendu compte que la plupart en fait, des contenus qui ont été créés en fait, sur le Togo ont été faits par des gens qui réellement ne sont pas au Togo, qui ne maîtrisent pas forcément les sujets, mais qui en parlent. Mais c'est dommage parce que c'est normal, parce qu'il n'y a pas des gens qui sont capables de dire que non, ceci, c'est pas comme ça. Et il n'y a pas de gens sur les territoires à même de le faire. Donc, c'était un peu compliqué. Et donc, c'était ce que nous, on vient pour pallier à travers la création de cette communauté-là au Togo. Donc, en 2022, la communauté est lancée en 2020. En 2022, on a eu un véritable tournant autour de la communauté, ce qui fait qu'on a eu beaucoup de campagnes en 2022 qui a fait que beaucoup de gens ont commencé par s'intéresser à Wikimedia Togo. Qu'est-ce que vous faites? Où est-ce que vous êtes situé? Comment on fait pour adhérer? Voilà. 2022, c'était vraiment une année formidable. Et donc, en 2023, ça a suivi l'année. Et donc, beaucoup de gens s'intéressent davantage maintenant aux initiatives qu'on développe autour de Wikimedia au Togo. Voilà. Donc, en gros, comment est-ce qu'on est organisé? On a un bureau exécutif composé de 3 personnes principales, 3 postes principaux qui sont président, secrétaire, trésorière, avec 2 commissaires aux comptes qui sont capables, qui ont pour devoir de réellement, qui ont pour devoir de contrôler les dépenses, de voir est-ce que tout ce que nous engageons comme dépenses, c'est vraiment nickel, pour que nous soyons en fait en règle sur le côté comptabilité et tout ça là. Et donc voilà un peu le bureau que je peux vous présenter. Donc, désolé, la personne qui est, je vais dire, désolé, ça fait une liste. Voilà, la personne qui est à l'extrême, en blanc, en marche longue, c'est Herman Casalva qui est le président. Moi-même, je suis. Donc, vers la gauche, vous allez voir Madame Messé qui est la trésorière. Et les 2 autres sont les 2 commissaires aux comptes, notamment M. Bernard et M. Alfred. Voilà. Et donc, alors, qu'est-ce que nous faisons comme activité sur Wikimedia au Togo? Il y a les sessions de formation, il y a les éditatons qu'on fait, et il y a les photo walks, mais également on a des conférences et des rencontres autour de Wikimedia et des données ouvertes. Et donc, sur cet aspect-là, on développe beaucoup de partenariats avec les organisations qui interviennent dans le domaine du libre au Togo, notamment OpenStreetMap, Internet Society, également Montpellier Libre, qui est en fait à Montpellier et qui intervient aussi dans nos pays sur les questions de données ouvertes. Donc, on est très en fait engagé sur ces sujets-là. Mais également, on organise en fait des rencontres en fait hebdomadaires pour aider en fait les contributeurs togolais à grandir en compétences tous les dimanches. Tous ceux qui sont intéressés, on a toujours un lien ouvert qui est là Si tu as envie, tu rejoins en fait la team et puis tu exprimes tes besoins sur quel sujet tu as envie de grandir, si c'est Wikipédia, si c'est Wikicommons, ou si c'est un autre projet que voilà, tu as envie de devenir beaucoup plus un expert là-dedans. Donc voilà, on a des initiatives comme ça au niveau de la communauté. Et donc, les projets sur lesquels nous contribuons généralement, c'est Wikipédia, notamment Wikipédia en français, mais aussi Wikipédia en anglais à travers les processus de traduction qui est là-dedans, mais voilà, Wikipédia en anglais aussi, un peu. Il y a Wikipédia en EV. Il y a beaucoup de gens qui ont commencé par contribuer sur EV aujourd'hui parce que l'EV, c'est la langue la plus parlée, en fait, dans le pays. Donc, la langue locale la plus parlée. Donc, beaucoup de gens ont commencé par contribuer un tout petit peu sur Wikipédia en EV, ce qui est une très belle chose et qu'on compte, au fait, également élargir bientôt vers d'autres langues. Il y a Wikimedia sur Wikipédia Kabye qui est en train également d'être fait. Et il y a des contributeurs qui ont commencé par émerger également sur cette partie de Wikipédia. Et donc, sur Wikidata, je pense que ça a été le deuxième projet sur lequel on a énormément contribué au Togo grâce en fait aux initiatives telles que l'anniversaire de Wikidata, et le 10e anniversaire de Wikidata, et également tous les projets qu'on fait maintenant, on essaie toujours d'avoir un volet Wikidata parce que moi-même, je travaille un peu sur les questions des données. Le président également, c'est pareil. Et donc, on a essayé de faire en sorte que la data fasse partie intégrante de nos actions et qu'on puisse en fait réutiliser ces données-là plus tard. Donc, c'est ça en fait l'intérêt de Wikidata pour nous. Il y a Wikispecies qui, en tout cas, est très peu connu par beaucoup de Wikimédiens dans le monde, mais qui est un peu... je pense que nous, on aime beaucoup un peu Wikispecies parce que ça permet en fait aux gens qui sont dans le secteur de l'environnement, qui sont dans le secteur de la botanique, de pouvoir avoir une plateforme fiable qui leur permet de pouvoir répondre en fait, avoir une idée de ce qu'il y a comme flore et faune sur leur territoire, avoir une idée de la taxonomie également. Donc c'est très intéressant. Et puis Wikistionnaire, qui est un projet également sur lequel on contribue beaucoup. Voilà. Alors, je continue rapidement. Je vais être rapide parce que là, on est en train de me faire sécuriser presque à la fin. Donc, ici, vous allez voir quelques activités, quelques campagnes auxquelles nous avons participé. Il y a Wikiloves F, Wikiloves Africa, Art et Féminisme, Wiki for Human Rights, Wiki World Heritage et plein d'autres. Donc, je notifie également que nous participons également aux formations, aux activités des autres communautés, parce qu'il n'y aura pas que nous qui organisons des choses, mais on accompagne également les autres et on essaie également de participer aux autres activités. Donc, je pense qu'il y a de cela un mois, nous avons remporté, je pense qu'il y a 4 membres de la communauté qui ont remporté les premiers prix de Wiki Africa Challenge. Voilà, de Amplify Africa, donc lancé par Africa Crowd et Wikimedia Bénin. Donc, on a eu 4 membres de la communauté qui étaient vraiment des lauréats là-dedans. D'accord. Là, je vais aller très rapidement. Ici, vous avez quelques illustrations au sujet de la communauté. Et ici, nos campagnes que nous faisons, quelques photos. Ici également, quelques photos. Et là, vous avez quelques chiffres autour de la communauté. Ça fait 3 ans d'existence. On a 2 groupes de Wikimédiens, sur EV également sur français, Wikimedia Community of Togo. Il y a plus de 300 personnes formées aujourd'hui. On a environ 16 événements organisés et plus de 2351 images téléversées depuis le début de l'année parce qu'on a mis en place un tracking pour traquer en fait les activités, les contributions des membres de toute la communauté. Voilà. Ici, vous pouvez voir l'implication. Voilà, on a fait une petite étude pour voir comment est-ce que Wikipédia est utilisé dans le pays. Et également, voilà. Donc, pour cette étude-là, il y a plus de 39 personnes qui ont participé. Donc, ce sont 14 personnes qui sont... les hommes ont pris les dessus dans ce cas. Il y a les femmes qui sont représentées à 25%. La tranche d'âge qui ont répondu à cette enquête-là, il y a 74% qui sont... Voilà, c'est pas bien sorti, désolé. Donc, prochainement, je vais vous partager le truc. Donc, le niveau d'instruction, ça, on a plus de 94% qui ont un niveau d'enseignement supérieur. Et au niveau du domaine dans lequel les gens sont, il y a plus de 53% qui sont inscrits, en fait, qui travaillent dans le domaine des sciences sociales. Voilà. Donc, ici, encore quelques chiffres autour. C'est beaucoup de gens, 97% ont répondu qu'ils utilisent Wikipédia contre 2% qui ne l'utilisent pas. OK. Désolé, donc je vais rapidement aller à la fin parce que c'est calme. Donc, il y a beaucoup de chiffres ici que vous allez pouvoir voir. Sur la fiabilité de Wikipédia, parce que c'est aussi un facteur qui fait qu'elle est utilisée ou moins utilisée. Donc, il y a 53% qui disent que c'est plutôt fiable, ce qui est pas mal. Mais, et aussi, on a essayé de voir s'ils ont recensé des informations incorrectes sur le projet. Donc, il y avait 64% qui ont dit qu'ils n'ont pas recensé quoi que ce soit, contre 25% qui ont recensé des informations qui ne sont pas très correctes. Voilà. Donc, ici, l'identification des contributeurs. On a eu plus de 53% voilà, qui disent qu'ils sont des contributeurs et, voilà, et contre 46% qui ne le sont pas, qui ont répondu à l'enquête. Voilà. Donc, à peu près, vous allez voir également ici, au niveau de l'apprentissage, comment est-ce que les gens ont été formés. Il y a certaines personnes qui ont été formées sont été formées, mais il y a plus de 85% que nous avons formés grâce au fait à nos activités, qui ont répondu à cette étude-là. Au niveau des niveaux, on a beaucoup de contributeurs débutants, 56%, contre 8,7% d'avancés, et 34% de contributeurs intermédiaires. Voilà, ici, vous allez voir nos partenaires, beaucoup de partenaires, je pense, un peu. L'Institut français, la Fondation Internet Society, Wikifranca, le ministère du Tourisme qui nous appuie avec les données et les autorisations pour pouvoir aller faire le recensement, les photos de tous les monuments dans le pays. Et il y a Montpellier Libre qu'on va participer à une activité très récemment avec Montpellier Libre pour pouvoir donner une communication sur Wikimedia et tout ce qu'il y a tout autour. Et également Open Knowledge Foundation, grâce à qui on fait organisé Open Data Day cette année, qui nous a soutenus financièrement également. Voilà. Donc, les forces opportunités. Donc, aujourd'hui, on travaille dans le domaine du libre au Togo depuis 7 ans, bientôt 10 ans pour certains. Donc, c'est une grande force pour nous, une belle collaboration avec les organisations qui œuvrent au Togo, une forte pénétration des téléphones portables et de l'Internet dans le pays, surtout en zone urbaine, et un début d'intéressement des questions des données ouvertes par les autorités qui ont déployé depuis 2020 la première plateforme de données ouvertes en fait, dans le pays, ce qui est très intéressant. En question de faiblesse, il y a beaucoup de gens comprennent moins bien Wikipédia, c'est pourquoi ils s'intéressent, surtout en milieu universitaire. On les interdit de ne pas utiliser Wikipédia. Donc, tu utilises Wikipédia, tu l'utilises mal, tu as 0. Donc, en gros, pourquoi est-ce que ce n'est pas utilisé? Parce qu'ils ne comprennent pas comment est-ce qu'on contribue sur Wikipédia, comment on cite, en fait, Wikipédia. D'accord. On a encore quelques petits problèmes, notamment quelques difficultés de participer à toutes les campagnes. Le coût élevé aussi de l'Internet au Togo. Le Togo présente l'un des coûts Internet les plus élevés de toute la région. Donc, voilà. En termes de perspective, pour finir, je pense que c'est la fin, c'est de multiplier des sessions de sensibilisation, renforcer la capacité de l'équipe dirigeante, toujours, avec l'appui des autres communautés, fidéliser les contributeurs qui ont déjà été formés et renforcer davantage la collaboration avec les partenaires. Du coup, merci beaucoup pour votre attention et voilà. Merci. Je pense que j'ai largement dépassé mon temps. Je vais prendre juste une question et puis c'est bon. Ouais.